Hi, this is Tuhon Aditya from LightHaven. We recently hosted a very dear friend of mine, a colleague, a mentor, a teacher. We hosted Tuhon Belton, Kruya Belton, Guru Belton, whatever it is that whatever title it is that you like to give him. But we hosted a really dear friend of mine, Belton Lubas from Seattle, from Warrior Strength Training in Seattle, and we hosted him for a Muay Thai seminar. But it also gave me a really great chance to sit down with a friend I hadn't seen in a very long time. Last time we met was in 2019, I think, or 2018. 2019, I think, actually. And I thought that we would just talk a little bit about the Filipino martial arts, and what started out initially as just one conversation that I wanted to have with him about, again, Filipino martial arts, how he sees the Filipino martial arts, how he sees the weapon arts, that kind of evolved into 4 different videos. We have a video on creativity, and the effects of creativity within the martial arts, within coaching the martial arts, within training the martial arts. We have a video on empty hand striking and how he approaches it within the Filipino martial arts. And then we have a video on what I would say maybe like mindset, the warrior's mindset, let's say that, as a lack of a better word. So I'm really excited to share these 4 videos with you guys, and I do hope that you guys enjoy them. And thank you again so much, Kruya Belton, Tuhon Belton, Guru Belton, for again coming to India, visiting my school, sharing your knowledge with us, just being that older brother to me as well. And thank you guys so much also for your support, and I hope you enjoy this video. So we were talking about creativity in the martial arts.
Yes.
We're trying not to laugh really hard, but we were at some point when we were serious talking about the creativity in the martial arts, and you were talking about how you were coming up with your 24 techniques for your FQI for Belton and how that changed a lot of your perspectives in FMA. And also, for example, like today you and me were playing around, you know, just trying to see some connection between different arts, and it was really interesting to see the way that your brain was working, and be like, oh, okay, fine, from here, and you were just making these connections. And for me, I find creativity to be really important in exactly that, making connections and finding patterns. But you, I mean, me also, but we're talking about you, are also a musician. You're also a dancer, and I've always believed that you need, if you really want to excel in the martial arts, you need something else to balance it out.
Yeah.
Or you need something else to help you fill in the gaps. Like what I struggle to understand in the martial arts, I will maybe find that breakthrough through music, or I might find that breakthrough through theater. And I'm just...
What's theater?
Theater,
Okay.
the theater. So
Language barrier here.
I'm curious as to how that experience has been for you, not just in terms of you coming up with, you know, your own variations of things or your own interpretations of things, but also how it's helped you to solve problems for your students and fighters in the moment while you're cornering them.
Okay. That's a lot of questions.
Yes,
Because I'm in India, do I have to talk some way? In the theater,
you can.
because I'm a student.
It might
Okay, so
help.
listen up. You bring up a lot of things, and the cool thing is, your question in itself is an answer, and you summed it up. But I agree. I think there too many martial artists have boxed themselves in, and I mean, you know, I've watched your growth. You know, Tuhon Adi, I've watched your growth, and when you were first learning FMA, because PTK was your first FMA, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching you. You know, it's kind of like watching you grow. And man, everything about it was very, you know,
Yeah.
structured,
Yeah.
very formal.
Yeah.
It was this way, it was that way,
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, E. I think, you know, it was very cool watching that, because the way I think is A, C, B, D, Z, Y, J. I mean, because the way I can connect the systems and see things is prior experiences. And I think that aha moment didn't connect till later. And it's not because you weren't open-minded. You were trying to embrace something that was a new system to you, a new art. The first, no, not your, is it your first martial art? No. No, you did some other martial arts, but you're trying to absorb it as clean, as pure as you can.
I think it was my first principle-based way of learning.
Yeah.
Everything else was very like katas or structures or technique 1,
Yeah.
technique 2, technique 3.
And I think you approached it that way too,
Yeah.
because you had to.
Yeah.
Again, prior experiences. So what's really cool is, and it's interesting, we talked about, we were doing a move, and you said it took a while, like years, you said, for you to go. It was never explained to me that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. It took you years. I just saw it that way. And it's not because I had different lenses and stuff. I think it's just, again, these prior experiences,
Yeah.
right? When your brain opens up a certain way, suddenly you can't turn it off anymore.
Yeah.
What's cool is there's a couple of grandmasters along the way too that kind of put me in hard check. And I told a story about Grand Tuhon talking about like stop pivoting.
Yeah.
Well, I pivot when I do other arts, and then my aha moments came quicker. Some aha moments don't happen for people at all. They're
Yeah.
just boxed in the system and they refuse to. And that's fine. That's their journey. That's fine. Totally fine. I go learn from those guys. And you know why? Because you'll have the purest version of that system and it'll never change. Maybe they had that purest version of that time frame in that era or whatever. Maybe they'll have the purest version, period, end of story. What's funny is I'm seeing it happening even in Belton. So I teach my guys a certain way. Then I'm like, I touch hands with somebody from another state, and I'm going, where's this coming from? Why are they moving a certain way? And I would question the guy, and I say, or it was a girl actually. I go, who's your teacher? So I call this teacher over, and I'm higher level rank, and I go, come play with me. And I go, that's where it came from. Then I go, and I knew who his guru was. So it's newbie, level 1, 2, level 6 completion, and then his guru. So I called the guru over. Actually, not even a guru. He's just a COA too. He's a fellow, same level, just longer. And I touched hands, and he didn't do it. So, and I went, so your student does
Yeah.
this. He pulls instead of pushes or slaps. And he goes, that's not how I taught him. I go, interesting, because he's teaching her that.
Yeah.
And he was kind of shocked. So I think, we as martial artists, sometimes if we stay boxed in a system, that's good because it's very, very strict. But there was an evolution in that touch. But I don't think that evolution happened without any depth and understanding or
Yeah.
solid foundation to why he changed it.
Yeah, I mean, it happened with us in the seminar that we're just doing in Muay Thai, where like some of my students were like, "Hey, we drilled this move," and I was looking at them, being like, "I don't think I taught that." And actually, I had a conversation with them, and my entire thing was, it's good that you want to share and you want to explore, but also check in with your teachers to know if what I'm doing makes sense, or if what I'm doing is just fluff. But do you work to curtail that creativity? Do you work to streamline it?
No,
How do you deal with that situation?
I think some people think they should be creative, and
Because they want to make it their own.
yeah, they just they just don't know that when they're mature enough to do that. I think they just try to. Look at the day and age we live in now. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. And I think some people just feel the need to, because they'll see one of my videos. Why does it have 1.3 million views? Well, he did it, but they don't understand that there's variations to that, and it goes back to that what you brought up earlier in your question, your 7-minute question on your FQI techniques. When you're FQI, when you're a level 7 test, when you're level 6 testing for 7, one, you got to be a 6 who also tested out a 6. If I'm going for my level 7 guru, FQI, full qualified instructor under GM Bobby Tabawada, I got to make sure that as a 6, I produce a 6. Meaning he tested in front of Grandmaster, who's the only one that can test you out on his system. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can, or your guru can test you out, okay? So the respective guru in the area. Now, I want to be a guru, and I'm like, hey guys, I have a guy, GM, this is my guy. GM's like, okay, we'll see how he does. So you finish your 6. Now I have to show my 24 techniques. So what Adi was saying was that in the development of that, I did it in less than, it was barely a bit over a month, if not, around there. Most people take a year or long, very long time. I did not, and the reason why is I had other FMA systems, Bikini, Arnis, NSI, da 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 da. So I was coming. I can make 24 right now as we speak. I'll come up with 24 new techniques. Not a thing for me. It's like pad holding. I can come up with 24 combinations. Come on, man. If you're doing that long, right? But I did not have any breadth or understanding. So I came up with it, and Guru John goes, "Hey, we should wait. Wait a little bit longer. Let it marinate." I use that word a lot. Marinate. When you marinate meat, and then you grill it, doesn't it taste wonderful?
I mean, I'm vegetarian, but I'm going to assume yes.
It's not his fault. I'm not apologizing for him for being a vegetarian. When you marinate a vegetable, look at my Indian, right? When you marinate a vegetable,
You're going to get us killed.
when you marinate meat, it tastes a lot better. It seeps into it, it absorbs the flavors, etc. When you just throw stuff in the grill and you baste, you do the little brush thing, that sucks, man. I don't know why you people do that. When I moved to America, like continental US, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with these people? This is a gross barbecue. So I was like, nope, never ever. So marinate. So when he told me I gotta wait a little bit longer, one, nobody does that. Two, they don't just test out after finishing their 6. Two, it would look bad. It looked like I didn't go a thought process, and and even as talented as I am, Jim it would just look bad. And other fellow FQIs like, well, he just finished. What, he tested already? So what's going on? So I said that's fine. In my exploration, and I say this all the time in front of other FQIs and during testings, I go, I'm glad I waited. Because as I came up with 24 techniques, I had 3 variations of each technique. I kept countering my counter. I kept countering myself. I kept envisioning, or I'd call somebody up, hey, you do this to me. And then all of a sudden I touch hands, they're like, Sean, and he would come at it a different energy. Josh, a different energy. John, a different energy. And I'm like, damn, that's 3 different techniques. You, a different energy. When you did the Dako Pupunyo, and then you slap down, some people don't slap down. But I still had to move, and even with the energy, I still responded. Anyway, for those you know. And it opened up my brain. So with that being said, with 24 techniques, I had 75 techniques to show. And then some of my 24 original, I changed some of them. I was like, this is dumb. I can't even believe I came up with that. It's like having a combination from Muay Thai, like this is a stupid combination. What was I doing, just rushing the process? So people rush the process, they don't put thought and effort, so their creativity is not deep, it's not, there's no substance to it. It's just like, okay, jab, cross, hook. Technique, combo 1, combo 2, jab, cross, hook, cross. I got 2 done. I can't wait to get 22 more. Jab, cross, hook, cross, elbow. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so close. Wait till I throw the kicks in. So they're cheating the process, man. They're not, man, I see it all the time. So, as a testing panel and as a FQI, and it's fine, I see it, but then they change it up a bit, but it's like, and I try to understand where they're coming from without being too judgy. I'm like, oh, they really wanted to show that variation, but we do that without having a thought process. So when you're a choreographer, when you're a musician, stuff has to make sense. If I'm like, I hit the move here, step left, boom, boom. If I do this in my hand and I do this, I'm like, I did that already. It just feels so redundant.
Yeah.
So do something else, change an angle. So you get used to that mindset and that thought process. You get used to different mentors in different arts, not even a martial art, criticizing you, your delivery, this, that. You read other books that are not related to martial arts, and you find out how to open up your brain and think differently. And so I don't think too many martial artists do that.
Yeah.
So your biggest moments happen when you're not doing the art, like you said, when you're doing something else. Creativity is, think about it. What Bruce Lee wrote his book while he was in a hospital bed, right? He started thinking things through. A great physical specimen could do anything and everything, was an outstanding athlete and fighter, but then when he just kind of put it to paper, he really got deep into his own thought process. I think sometimes we need to introspectively do that. We don't do that enough.
Yeah, I find it really, the term you use, marinate, I find it really interesting because It means, of course, give things time to sort of seep in and let it absorb into your body. But I also feel like in the martial arts, that marination could take a long time depending on what you already, the amount of time you already spent on other things like basics. Like, for example, I remember there was one of the PTK conventions, you and me were part of the advanced group with Tuhon Philip. I don't know if you remember this. And then Tuhon Philip was showing some stuff, and everybody, and these were like, we were Agalons at that time, and there were like mandalas over there and a couple of Tuhons, and their faces were just like blank when Tuhon Philip was showing something. And we had to line everybody up and be like, okay, my side do this, his side do that. And I often return to that moment because for me that was an expression of, for me at least, I don't know if you see this differently or not, because our journeys have been quite different in FMA. For me at least, it was a testament to the amount of work I'd done on my basics, that I no longer needed to think about, hey, what is an angle one? An angle one is just, it's like what you said, a punch is just a punch, and then a punch is more than a punch, and then a punch is just a punch.
We talked about that, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
For me, I didn't have to think about an angle one. I just have to do an angle one, and then I can start thinking about everything else. Whereas for other people, they have to be like, okay, where should my hand be? Where should this be? What should I do? And a lot had to do with also my footwork. I didn't have to think about where I needed to be. I was just there because I had spent time on the thing. And that sort of allowed me to adapt in the moment.
So Adi, if I was walking in that room and I was watching you and myself move versus the people that were higher ranked than us, what would I have thought about Adi and Belton?
I'd be like, hey, these guys have trained with Tuhon Philip before. They're probably his like assistants or something or the other.
But we haven't.
Exactly.
As much as people
But they
think.
seem like they get it.
Yep. This happened at a Guru Dan seminar. I told a story where somebody thought I was a Guru Dan instructor. I'm not. But I understood what Guru Dan was showing. I got it. I was like, dude, he showed 7 different variations, but you guys missing is the first 3 beats, the first 3 moves. Look at Marinade, okay? The grandma in the kitchen. She don't use a freaking measurement cup. Dash here, boom, even takes, boom. Years and years and years and years. Now, I grew up with grandma. I'm watching her. Da-da-da. She's like, taste this. Ah, right there. I'm this person. So wait, a quarter cup this, and then let it sit for 20. It's all feel. Grandma did it by feel.
Yeah.
So that's how I cooked. I cooked the adobo like my grandma, and my mom. I didn't measure stuff out. I knew it was about that.
Yeah.
My mom never said, and then it's half a cup of this.
Yeah.
She says, you just do this, and then you do this, and here's some vinegar. And I'm like, oh, that's marinade. That's marinade that's at grandmaster level marinating, right? Where that's just repetitions upon repetitions without even thinking. They don't even think.
And it adapts to like how cold it is outside, how much rice or water, or how much is steaming. I guess that kind of gets me to my next point, more specifically to martial arts, this marinating process. What do you think is at least the basics required? For example, you need to pressure test. First, you need to have a theory. You need to pressure test it. Then you have to have you come up with a conclusion, and then you fail a bunch of times. You fail.
Yeah, it's called fucking up your cooking.
Yeah. How do you deal with that failure?
You gotta taste your food, man. So, I love grandma's cooking, but I'm going to add the coriander. I just want to try it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, this and that mixes well with this and that. I don't know, dill or a bit of more sugar.
Yeah.
Dude, why would you put sugar in that? But I understand the sugar actually brings out, okay, well, I'm gonna try it. Oh, this is gross. Wasted food. Did I really? Is that bad information, the fact you ruined a meal, or is that good information?
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on who you are, how
Depends
you
on
take
the perspective.
it.
It's great information. It tells me I shouldn't do that next
Yeah.
time. If I took a left down the street and I got beat up, that's a good information from now. Put that in my back pocket, never take a left, take a right. But people are like, that was just horrible. I go, it depends on the perspective. So I think people are afraid to go outside grandma's cooking. One, either grandma's gonna slap your wrist. Come on now, we know those grandmasters, don't you dare go outside of my system. Two, they're afraid of failure because they're serving it to these people who expect grandma's cooking, hence the system followers. But you know what? I'm gonna fail, but I'm gonna fail on my own first. Maybe even present it to my fellow system followers.
Yeah.
Hey, you're part of the PTK group. Show me this. What do you think? You're like, yeah, but they're gonna get countered here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a good point. Good idea. Good. and then being humble and having honest feedback and like, how did you like that? It's a little too sweet, man. It's just lower down on
Yeah.
the sugar. So the marinating process, nobody's willing to make those mistakes or invest in exploration and curiosity.
Yeah.
And failure is a scary word, you know?
Yeah. Is there something to be said? So right now I feel like what we just spoke about was still maybe slightly higher for intermediate practitioners. My question is, if let's say for a basic practitioner, at some point he has to buy into what his teacher is telling him, and hopefully the teacher is good skill, good understanding, he works on his students' trust, all of that stuff. He's presented him with decent, reasonable, sensible, practical information. But when he tries it in a pressure tested environment, the student fails. Now, one school of thought is that shit, that information sucks, that makes no sense. The other school of thought is, I am the one who
Yeah.
messed it up. I need to figure out where I messed it up, and I need to maybe make the adjustments to make it work.
This is where being a multi-art practitioner is so useful. What do they say what do they tell white belts?
Fail 1,000 times.
You're gonna keep failing.
Yeah.
And guess what? Why do BJJ white belts embrace that, but other arts can't? Why do they embrace it?
I guess failure is baked into the training methodology.
Because it's pressure tested.
Yeah.
You do a class for 45 minutes, the last 15 minutes hard
Yeah, yeah.
rolls.
Fuck,
It's
yeah.
rolls.
Oh.
You just get
get-
jacked.
yeah.
You get rolled over, you get squashed. And you walk away, dude, that was awesome. Well, where did that
Yeah.
mindset come from?
Yeah.
And why can't the same mindset be done the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's you, it's me. It's like, all right, we're gonna do Sabayan, boom, 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 cut you, and then just make that environment like, okay, your next goal next week is don't get cut as many times. It's like BJJ. Okay, well I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, what are we doing? Live rolls? I go, yeah, just survive. What do you mean by survive? Just survive.
Just survive, yeah.
Don't worry, because then the instructor is gonna kind of show them, okay, that's where you tap. If a good instructor would do that in PTK, would be like, oh, up, there's your cut. See? Ah, got you. Or like what I was doing to your students those last how many days? Coming by, tapping them in their face lightly, going, oh, you got hit. They kind of smile. But do I just correct them? Well, I was pressure testing it, bro. I just knock your student out. So the art, why is there a leveling up process happening in your school right now in Muay Thai? You know? Other than a different instructor coming in, but I'm bringing, we haven't seen each other in how many years?
At least 6, 7? 7, I think.
7.
Yeah.
In 7 years, there's a lot of coaching stuff that I've gone through personally and whatever, right? And you're probably seeing that. You're probably seeing a lot different than compared to the first seminar.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I'm seeing a lot of concepts, but I'm also seeing a lot of concepts that are being tied together, and I'm seeing a lot of improvisation, but I'm seeing improvisation with already a deep base of knowledge and a lot of faith that you're like, you know what, I feel like this is what they need, but I also feel like at the end everything is going to come together, which is exactly what happened yesterday and today. You're seeing a lot of that, just everything we worked on in the last 7 days, and there might be quite different things we worked on. Clinches, we worked on catching kicks, we worked on blocks and defense and long attacks, short attacks, all sorts of things. And you're seeing everything kind of just meld together, and the thing is that I actually spoke to some people about this, and I was like, there's this feeling of competence that's coming to people. They're like, damn, I feel so good, I move so good, I feel like I'm getting it. I am curious to know, once, because I experienced this with GT, and I'm sure you experience this whenever you go to a Grandmaster or something, you see a big leveling up. And then a lot of my journey when I come back, especially because when I used to come back to India in the beginning, I didn't have any training partners. It would be so I've gone from here to here with GT, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the year just trying to, next time I go, I'm going down a little bit because I'm not as sharp as when he was around, but I don't want to come all the way back down. So I think the process of being like, next time you come, how much they've got better, how much they've retained, how much they've built on what they've retained. I think that's going to be a really interesting process for a lot of people. But right now, they feel great about themselves, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah. I was going to talk about GT. you know, there's a reason why there was a select group of us that trained with them every December. That was crazy that we chose that month too. It's the most expensive month to go to the Philippines. It's so dumb, but we came back every year. And those who know, we would come back and spend weeks with him. But it was crazy because there, you know, the Adis and Beltons of the world are far and few. And I'm speaking this because you know, if you're watching this and you are a high-level practitioner, you are part of that group too. I'm not just saying we're ultimately special. And you know, there's not Adis in that Muay Thai school. There are just them. There are some good ones. So, you know, if you're looking at, because this question is pretty tricky. We're talking about like growth and creativity and all this stuff. I wish I had 10 attendees. I wish I had 15 fighters, but we're gonna always be servicing like a large gap of skills, right? A spectrum. And so the tricky part is that we have to find a way to kind of disseminate that information and have people enjoy the art, et cetera, et cetera. Not the ones who are diehard that spend thousands of dollars going to the Philippines. That's far and few.
Yeah.
This is the biggest seminar Go has had, maybe in general, martial arts, but definitely in your school and probably compared to other martial arts here in this area. And everyone's enjoying themselves, and that 22 will become 44, 44, 60 something. Pretty soon people flying everywhere, and you're going to be the hub. I think, honestly, I think that's kind of how the art of PTK spread too. You have a very charismatic, special individual. You know, yourself is special, G2 is special, and we were all drawn. We didn't mind that sacrifice, and then we created other people to love and enjoy that, you know. But GT, over the years, like other other grandmasters, have had time to marinate the way to deliver information, you know.
Yeah.
And even then, when he took the formula and started saying, "I'm going to keep it simple, it's just the tri-V,"
Yeah.
you know, that's evolution. And if a grandmaster doesn't evolve, I question that. I question that a bit, you know. And GT has shown that evolution. And some people like the old stuff, and then they bring it back in GT. We've asked him many times, why haven't you shown us the 64 Texas? Never mind that one.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, he's
it's all the
actually
same.
said it to me. I remember hounding him once and being like, why? And he said to me, you know, at that time when I was teaching in wherever I was teaching, I mean, he was teaching in the States, but he was like, at that time when I was teaching, people wanted answers to the questions. But now I want them to come back and show me their answers and how they solve problems using the tools that I've given them. I don't want to spoon feed people anymore, which worked for us. I know that there are most people hunger for structure. They feel lost in, like when I started PTK, I was lost as shit for the first 3, 4, 5 years. I didn't know what was going on at all. I had no idea. And I used to see you guys just like improvise stuff on the fly and just come. I was like, how are you guys doing this? Just like where should what am I supposed to do? And then a lot of it was just like a leap of faith, just keep going and you start seeing. And for me, it took me like a long time to start seeing, oh, this.
Sean went through that process when he started attending Doctor's Camp. I say Doctor's Camp's like a black belt for black belts. And he said he would have headaches after the camp because it was so much intense brain thinking power, right?
Yeah.
But later on, it just started clicking because you keep into that process of thinking, like, you know, exploring and seeing how to solve the problems and not memorizing eight eights or, you know, 3 3s or, you know, 64 that, or, you know, GT was like, here's a concept, deal with it.
Yeah.
And it made us better. And it's funny because I'll see some of these things these guys would do, and supposedly I'm a Tuhon, you're a Tuhon, and why don't we know that? I was like, I don't know. I just know GT's done that because I see the same movement. I don't know the name. Oh, that came from, that's Dosime. Oh, well, good to know.
Yeah.
I did not know the name.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I wish, you know, like you said, I can go backwards, but I don't have that time or luxury to go backwards. So I just take it and touch hands. Because there's enough movement and thinking process within what I have that I can just kind of reverse engineer it myself. So anybody starting PTK, my advice is do it exactly how it should be taught in the beginning. Learn. Same thing with Balint Walk. Same thing with, Dr. Kelly's material. Just learn it, with a good foundation, because you're not ready to handle that other one. There's the rare individuals that are willing to invest the time, the frustration, and didn't leave and quit, because people have done that. Frustrated, just leave and quit, and it came back for more, had a couple of Tuhons here and there, give some insight, and then the one thing I do know about D is very explorative, and he gets into his brain, so he figured it out. I think he justified his own rank by being able. I think you justified your rank by being able to do that. Some people get the rank, and they haven't really thought about those movements. Another thing too is some of these guys weren't coached on how to coach.
Yeah.
Coaching is a skill.
Yeah.
Coaching is a skill, and I'll put this out there. When I was teaching as a blue belt, purple belt, and as a brown belt in BJJ, I've been coaching longer than some people have been their black belts. I've been coaching than some of the black belts have been longer than some of them have been alive. That's 25-year-old black belt and been coaching 30 years. Or they got their black belt and they're 5 years in black belt, or 10 years, and they started coaching. They're professor. Some of these guys get their rank and suddenly, what do you got to show for?
Yeah.
Now they're entering a new skill. And just like the skill they learned on how to move, they had no skill on how to, okay
How to
guys,
articulate,
how to,
And
and that's a skill in itself, and I think that's, a special, takes a special person, and or a lot of time you have to put in.
yeah.
If you don't got the skill, put the time in. If you don't got the gift, if
Yeah.
you don't got the magic gift of just picking it up. One skill that was transferable across all my martial arts is the dancing. And in choreography, you had to look at every step, beat, broken down in 4/4 time, sometimes in blocks of 8 or this, that, and the other, the half beats in between, the minute movements, the placement, where are you at in space and time to the person next to you. It became so ingrained that I can watch GT or whoever or Jimbo pop, 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 and I'm like, got it, cool, let's do display.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah, just here, feed me. And you're like, how in the hell did you get that? I'm like,
Yeah.
I just watched. So it's not a superpower. That was an acquired skill over time.
Yeah.
You get chairs thrown at you and the choreographer's pissed off because you're off by whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, that's traumatizing. So I had to improve, or I got kicked out or got yelled at, and my mom had high expectations for me in this Filipino dance type culture, entertainment type culture, and that's one thing that Filipino culture probably provided too. In the earlier interview, being Filipino,
Yeah.
FMA, very exploring, very expressive, wanting to be in the arts. So, as some of these Tuhons or whatever, gurus or masters or whatever you call yourself, get into coaching, man, invest in your coaching. And also, your damn ego, dude, put it aside. Sometimes you're so afraid of imposter syndrome. I know, because I felt that you're not willing to just, hey, Tuhon, or hey, Guru. So, like, if you do this, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, do it again. I don't know. Where'd you learn that? Oh, another Tuhon showed me this. I go, that's a good question. Let me check into that. Just admit it, man.
Yeah.
Why you gotta make up some BS and, no, well, this way is that way. I'm like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Just embrace it, man, and say you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a problem in this industry. The
Yeah.
ego's so big.
I mean, I think that I remember when I got the rank of Tuhon, for me it wasn't so much, I mean, it was of course a great honor and it was a recognition of skill and stuff, but for me it was a responsibility that I now am responsible for representing the PTK community, and I better damn sure make sure that I am worthy, and and if someone sees me and he's like, yeah, that's a Tuhon, I respect him, I get it, I see why. It was my responsibility to make sure that no one kind of felt bad that I was representing them in PTK. And I wanted to make everybody proud of the fact, because I mean, come on, we can have conversations about the Tuhons that have been made recently, and I don't want to get into that because we'll probably get into a lot of trouble. But I it was very important to me to, and I know it's the same for you also, to kind of represent proudly, and because we've spoken about, like even today you were showing fights about HEMA was FMA, and you feel the need to
Bro,
represent, and
I went to PTK convention in the Midwest, and there were a couple of these old school Tuhons that were inside. I'm like, oh, who's that? Oh, that's Tuhon this, Tuhon that. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. And I forgot who I was talking to, and even then, if I knew, I wouldn't say his name. He was just like, that guy doesn't even practice anymore. He was actually a Tuhon, but he's actually, whatever, taekwondo or karate or something, I forget. Doesn't matter. Point is, that guy doesn't even practice. I still am swinging the stick around. I am still doing certain things. But you know what? If you're going to judge me on whether, as a Tuhon Tentagdan, I should be able to show the whatever, XYZ, or Doce Methodist, or Sagita this, or 64 tax, you know?
I think they're missing the point if that's what they're using to judge.
Yes. Now, within PTK. Now, in Balintawak, it's different because there was a very set curriculum.
Yeah.
The standard, GM Bobby found it was easier to build the structure and the formula for the basics and call it, this is the level 1 stuff, up to level 6.
Yeah.
When you're 6, you should know this. You should know your 12 disarms on one side and your 12 on the other, plus the additional extra disarms. You should know your defense and counter. You should know your katas. So that's what the requirements in their system, but no one sat us down. GT didn't say, okay,
This is what you, yeah.
Now, there are stuff out there. I'm going to say this and put this out there. There's stuff out there that says what a Yakan Lakan should know. There are stuff out there, and not to refute that, and I really respect those organizations that are doing that, because now they're bringing some guidance and some levels to that. But the reason why a company is successful worldwide, like McDonald's, is because no matter where you go, a quarter pounder is a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
So there's some also truth to that, and why that should be the standardization.
Yeah.
I go anywhere and you claim to be a Tabawada Balintawak, and I say, feed me grouping 3. You should know it. Okay, and if I touch hands with you, I'll know. BJJ, there's no standard for what a blue belt. So see, now we're looking at other arts, and this is interesting because I've been doing BJJ since 1994. Okay, for those you don't know, blue belt 95, yada yada yada. Still, I'm a brown belt 4 stripe, but I can roll with you, and I'll know what belt you're at.
Yeah.
But why did you put him through a standard belt? You know. When I took my brown belt test, Professor Eli Trevino issued that because Renato Verissimo from Novanyao told him to bring me up a brown belt, and I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to just accept it just because. I respectfully asked Professor or Sensei Renato or Sharuto, may I please get tested? Because I want to be able to look myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And Professor Eli goes, well, I test my brown belts. I'm like, okay, cool. Professor Roland is my current professor, and there's a test too that he expects a certain standard. So standards are important. And so Professor Eli goes, dude, it's like 130 moves, and there's these throws, and you sure? I'm like, bring it. Then I wouldn't call myself a brown belt. If I've been doing it that long, I should be able to hang and bang.
Yeah.
I may not do it exactly like you wanted to, because I told Professor, I'm like, I've never even rolled with you, dude.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
I kind of called him out, calling myself out, which is weird.
Yeah.
I should just accept it. I should be a paper dragon, right? I should accept it, but I couldn't. And anyone ever claims that I haven't earned my shit, dude, that's one thing you cannot put on me. That's one thing you will never, no one, internet, social media, whatever, can't say I haven't earned. So that I can stand on my 2 feet and feel confident about. There's my stuff's out there, so call your shit, call me out if you want, but my stuff's out there, so I really don't care. You know, I think a lot of people hide behind the title too. Your stuff's out there. I have no problem. Dr. Kelly stuff's out there, GT stuff's out there, Jim Bobby stuff is out there. So if you're gonna be high level, you know, and don't be afraid.
Yeah.
So anyway, 3-hour test, throws, and he goes, okay, you're in half guard bottom, get to a knee bar. He didn't care how. He wanted to, he cared how. He just wanted to see what my thought
Yeah.
process was. He didn't, but he said, the harder you make it and the more Gucci you do, I'm gonna keep throwing you curveballs.
Yeah.
He's gonna start to say, what if this happens? And
Mm.
so he knew, he can tell if you were just getting fancy schmancy.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. So yeah, I think standards are important, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But also understand, once your standards are done and your foundation's there, your creativity and all that stuff.
Mm.
Same thing with fighters. I remember that's part of your question.
Yeah.
Same, stay on topic. Don't try something that you're not familiar with and you haven't done and you haven't executed and you haven't really put some time in.
Yeah.
You know, some fighters doing all this fancy stuff because they see it on YouTube has 10 million views. Well, yeah, duh, it's
Yeah.
a freaking cool move. But what about all the other knockouts that would happen with just a right cross?
Yeah.
People forget those things.